it's me, Cubby, with a personal spin, and today I'm going to be telling you about Dark Forest's new album, Beyond the Veil, which was released on the 26th of August 2016. They're an English band and it was released on Cruz del Sur Music, which is a label I've never heard of, so that's cool. They're an English band and I bought the album by mistake, but I'm glad, and here's why.
Light in the forest fading, in the hour when worlds intertwine. To walk on the road less travelled, and to be caught in time.
Firstly, I bought this album on Amazon thinking it was the other Dark Forest, the black metal band. I bought it because the album cover is amazing. I did, however, notice that the logo was different, and so I did suspect that it might be a different band, but I thought surely not, because lawsuits or something. But nope, turns out it's a totally different band. And while I'm on the subject of artwork, the artist was done by Duncan Store, and I'll link you to his website in the description below. Now on to the actual album. The album is Iron Maiden-esque with a bit of power metal thrown in. I know that doesn't... There's lots of lead guitars and galloping guitars and drums that sort of tend to get a bit carried away, which is awesome, and it's got really catchy vocals in it and poetic lyrics. I'll read some of the lyrics for you. One of the songs is called Autumn's Crown, and the opening lines are, I shall read it in a poetic way. Oops. Falling silently beneath vermilion canopies, as far as the eye can see, a burning rain. No words are spoken, the veil has now been broken, and darkness has woken the mother moon. See? That's cool. And what's even better than that is the fact that the vocalist manages to sing in really catchy ways, like they really stand out. Like the guitar leads and that are catchy in themselves quite a lot of the time, but his vocals are just like really spot on. They're really, really good, and I think that's what makes this album such a success. However, it is not without its faults. For me personally, I think the album's a tad too long, although pretty much every song on it is really good. It's a grower. Because it's so long, you have to listen to it a few times to really get into it. The other problem, now I don't know if it's just my copy of the CD or if it's on every copy, is there seems to be a sort of a tuning problem. One of the solos in the first song starts with the most out of tune note I've ever heard in all my life. It's awful, and I'm like, what? Luckily the rest of it's in tune, but I don't know if it's something wrong with when they were recording or if they did it intentionally. If they did it intentionally, it's quite interesting, because there's a couple of other places where similar things happen, and sometimes the vocals can come across a little bit weak. Not always. Most of the time they're spot on. Overall, I think it's a pretty good album, and the band shows muchly potential. They even have a flute solo in the title track, which I think is pretty cool. And they end the album on a really high note. It's a 14-minute epic.
Beneath the blossom, as twilight falls, the gods the blackthorn.
The sound is quite powerful. The bass is really quite high in the mix, which I quite enjoy because it gives the music a good strong rhythm, and there's lots of galloping guitars and things like that in this album. So having a good strong three-fingered bassy thing really locks in with the drums and makes the song a solid piece that the lead guitars can whittle over to their heart's desire. And a lot of those widdly bits are actually very catchy. However, there's a couple of issues. The snare drum, I find, seems to be louder than all the other drums in all the songs, which is alright, because again it helps kind of emphasise the backbeat, as it were. But I kind of like everything to be mixed, for the most part, evenly, because then it gives a nice flow to the music. But there we go. The other thing that is a glaring issue as well is the lead guitars are mixed louder than everything else, and it disrupts the balance of the whole album for me. It just doesn't quite work, and it upsets the harmony of listening to the album. You'll be like going, oh yeah, this is cool, and then all of a sudden this guitar lead will go like this. Obviously not like that. And for me, that kind of doesn't ruin the album, but it does lower it a bit. Okay, as an album, I love it. The songs themselves, in and of themselves, are fantastic. I can't state that enough. Each and every song, while they're all growers, because they're quite long, and when taken together it's even longer, they're all brilliant. They're masterfully written, they're really well thought out, and they even take a couple of twists and turns that you're not expecting. However, weird tuning issue that there is occasionally, it throws it off for me. There's just a few notes, and I know it might only be a few notes in a whole 70-minute CD, but a few notes just knock it down a few points. Favourite songs? Now, this is fun, because I like pretty much every song on this album, including the interludes. I really like The Law of the Land, which is the 14-minute epic ending one. I mean, what a way to end an album. 14 minutes of epic stuff. So that's pretty good. The Wild Hunt is pretty good. Autumn's Crown is really good. The first three songs, which is The Edge of Twilight, On the Edge of Twilight, Where the Arrow Falls, and Autumn's Crown are really good, and Blackthorn.
Holding silently beneath a million canopies, as far as the eye can see, a burning ray.
Okay, now it's time for the paw rating, and I'm going to give it 7 paws. I'd like to give it 8, but with the production problem, weird tuning problem, can you dance to it while drunk? Oh yes, you can. You can definitely dance to it while drunk. You can pretend to ride a horse, you can sword fight, and you can do other dances to it. Thank you for listening. I have been Cubby, and this has been Fluffykins, and we have just reviewed Dark Forest's album Beyond the Veil.